A homonym, that's a neat sounding word, isn't it? A homonym is a word that has the same sound. It may have the same spelling or not the same spelling, but the same sound. It's the same word will have more than one meaning, two meanings. And I'm wanting to talk to you about how the word yoga is a homonym. But first I'm going to give you a couple examples. If I get up from here and I walk out and we're off doing something else, and I say, what did I do with my glasses? Where are my glasses? Ma, where are my glasses? They're somewhere. Where are my glasses? And she says to me, Swamiji, you left them in the recording room. And I come in, or she comes in and said, here are my glasses. What happened? I left my glasses here. I left, L-E-F-T, I left my glasses here. If I'm driving down the road and I'm getting directions, which way should I go? We're coming to an intersection. Where should I go? And the person says, turn left. Do I reach for my glasses? Did I say, where did my glasses go? No. It's a different usage of exactly the same word. Left, L-E-F-T. So I can turn left, or I can figure out where I left my glasses. That's a homonym. There are many, many homonyms in our language. Here's another one. I don't have an example of this in front of me. Let's say that I have a flower here and it is a red rose. And I say, here is the red rose. And over here, and I do something, someone comes up and says, what were you doing there? You went away for a while. Where did you go? I said, well, I went into the library and I read a book. One is R-E-D. How do you spell read a book? I think R-E-A-D. You read a book. The past tense of read a book is read. So it's the same sound, but two very different meanings. You don't read a flower. It's a red flower. It's a color. Red is a color. Read is the past tense of read the book. It's a homonym. Yoga has become a homonym. Remember earlier I suggested the idea that we should respect the people of modern yoga. Now hold what I'm about to say here in that respectful sense. It's just a reality of our modern world, and this has mostly occurred in the last few decades. Certainly within the last 100 years. We're going to talk some more later about the history of the evolution or devolution, the history of yoga. And so yoga has become a homonym. One side of the homonym is those predominantly physical postural practices that are done in places called yoga studios or in gymnasiums or any manner of classrooms that are available. Sometimes a person just goes and rents a space somewhere else, in a commercial place or in a church or somewhere, and will rent a space, and that's where I have my yoga classes. But that common sense of the modern usage of the word yoga, we say yoga. Somebody asks me, what do I do? Like, what do you do for a living? What is your area of expertise? What do you do? My answer is yoga. Guess what? It's the other aspect of yoga. We're saying transitioning to the yoga of the ancient sages. It's the word yoga. We're going to talk about some of the traditional texts a little bit. And so that is yoga. So there are many, many usages of the word yoga, but there are two, very broadly stated, there are two general ways in which the word yoga is used. One is that physical thing that we're doing in studios, of which there's many kind and many postures and all that sort of stuff. That's one meaning. That's the common cultural meaning. As I was saying earlier, we were talking, that's the common usage of yoga in the bell curve. There is a common usage. That's one side of the homonym. The other side of the homonym is what you and I are journeying on together here, of transitioning to the yoga of the ancient sages. And that's not a quoted, and it's not a trademark. Quote, what yoga do you do? I do, quote, the yoga of the ancient sages. It's not a brand name. It's, how do we talk about this stuff? Yoga has so much become known as that yoga, which is the center of the bell curve of physical or postural yoga, that it's almost left behind the other traditional usage of the word yoga. But it has not been left behind, it's there. So if we draw that polarity and we say in a general sort of way, not exactly so, but in a general sort of way, there's this modern yoga and over here is this more traditional ancient yoga. It's a homonym. I wanted to introduce you to this word. It's a really neat word. And it helps us, all of us, avoid accidentally getting in fights with friends or debates. We can end up accidentally, this happens, you see it in online discussion forums. You see it happen on Facebook groups and pages where a couple really probably very nice people end up in a fight. Words going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And everybody's making a good point. And we can accidentally end up in fights over yoga. And if there's anything that should be not about fighting, it's yoga. In traditional yoga, there's that word again, the first principle, the 8 rungs of yoga, of Raja Yoga, is called the yamas. The first one of those is ahimsa, is cause no harm. It's cause no harm. And so accidentally we get into a fight with somebody, we're accidentally creating harm. So what am I asking you to do? Just be aware of the word homonym, and that yoga is used in 2 very broadly different ways. It's a homonym. It's a neat word, isn't it? Yoga has become a homonym.